Right, okay, guys, welcome to the seventh SID Show.
It is indeed.
It is. I was actually looking back at all the ones we've done, and we did the very first one. It was in March, which was literally just before. Was it before or after lockdown? I think it must have been
Just
just
about
before.
before, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I actually thought we'd been doing them longer than a year, but there you go. But I think it's kind of testament the fact that we're still going after 6 shows, I should say. The popularity of these things, probably even if nobody watches them, I think we'd still make them because I enjoy making them, and I think you two guys. What do you think? What do you think is appealing making them, and what do you think appeals to people who watch them or listen, whatever?
Well, the appeal for making them is we sit here and just have a good chatter and listen to music, and I don't know. We've got a Top Gear vibe going on, haven't we?
But apart from
I
that,
don't know. We're not that bad, are we?
well, who's the fucking Clarkson?
Well, that'd be you, wouldn't it?
Oh, cheers! I've been the oldest one, aye. Well, apart from the obvious eye candy, I mean, I think the tunes kind of speak for themselves.
Yeah, I'd say
Well,
so.
they certainly speak for far more than the fucking eye candy does. Yeah.
I'll give you a laugh, Lukozer. I was at my girlfriend's house on yesterday.
I was really worried how that opening sentence was going to progress there.
I was at her house last night, sitting with our sons there as well. And what were we watching? We were watching The Mandalorian. And and I said, "Oh, you need to fucking watch this." And I put your Jedi, real Jedi, and they were in absolute fucking stitches.
Oh, which one? Because I've done
one.
two of them now. Oh, the first one. Yeah.
It was the first one. That's what he says, right? I want you to put a stranglehold on me now. And you're like that.
Yeah.
Have you? I take it it's never happened yet, no.
No, I'm still waiting.
Oh,
yeah, but they haven't done it.
And are these guys still going strong? Are they? I take it.
Oh yeah. But the thing is, they had to move their forum and their site to a different URL because the old one kept getting hacked. Now I don't know if my video had anything to do with it, but I dearly hope it did.
But your second video inspired my remake of your YouTube avatar icon logo thing.
Right, so yeah, that is the avatar I use in there now. Yeah.
I think we'll put a link. I know it's got nothing to do with the sigil. We'll put a link to that video down below if you want to laugh. Go and watch it. Obviously after you've watched this one, but anyway. Right, let's get this show on the road then, shall we, boys? We'll start at the very bottom. Go for you, Lukozer, your first tune. Sorry, just before we start, have you guys gone for any theme of any kind or at all?
None at all, not for me.
I have gone for the theme of SID music.
Interesting. I haven't. Yeah, I'm like Lukozer. There's no basis in mine at all. So, and I'll let you kick off, Mr. Lukozer. I'll let you crack on.
That's a pretty wide theme you've chosen there. I'll be impressed to see how you cover that one.
Oh, don't worry, mate. I got it covered.
Okay.
I'll not hit the new screen until you say the word, and then both. So I usually fuck it up, don't I?
I'm in shock now. You actually came up with that without being reminded as well, which is yeah. Okay, well,
he's still going to play Golden Axe, Chris. I mean,
damn. Oh fuck!
Okay, well, I'll start with one of the big guns then. My first one then is Oxygen 6 by Richard Bailey. No, it's not. No. It's not. Right, so it's Rob Hubbard. No big surprise. This is one of those where I think people who watch these videos will be thinking, I can't believe it's taken this long for this one to crop up. But yeah, it's finally here. It's Spellbound.
epic is the word to describe that, and you'll hear it by an orchestra. I say that a lot, but you seem to pick a lot of the ones that they've used in the 8-bit symphony, so that's just musical taste, mate.
Yeah, I would imagine Rob Hubbard's involvement in the 8-bit symphony means that, pieces like that pick themselves, they've got to be included in something like that.
Would they use tubular bells towards the end?
That's by Mike Oldfield. I don't know, mate. It was a long while ago that I stood there and watched that. It was quite a lot to take in. But yeah, it's what an epic tune from an epic game. And like when we spoke about David Whittaker doing Nighttime and stuff like that, it's a nice long piece that never gets boring. It's not overly repetitive, and you can sit and play the game for ages without thinking, I've got to turn this shit off, like you would do with a short, annoying tune.
Yeah. I remember the Zap 64 review. They weren't overly, shall we say, complimentary towards it, which amazed me. I thought, as I read the review before I got the game, and I thought, I don't know if I'll bother with it. But then I thought, what the hell, no, I'll take the plunge. It's a fucking amazing piece. I cannot believe that Zap 64 gave it a relatively low score. Well, I say relative. I mean, I think they still gave it like 80%, but they weren't exactly showering it with compliments. I think the biggest surprise is the fact that even though I had Stormbringer in the second of these videos, Spellbound only appears now in the 7th one.
I think it's safe to say that, I mean, there's not. I don't think Rob Hubbard has put out a bad piece of music, and I was struggling to get the 5th SID, and I really didn't want to include a second Rob Hubbard, even though he deserves it, because there's every single piece of work that he puts out is just phenomenal. And I mean, I've actually literally just, I think I mentioned before, I've been working on this 3.5 hour epic C64 video, which I just finished last night, and it's based on the games in 1983, and when you hear how fucking woeful the sound was in early games, we were spoiled 2 years later, masterpieces like that. It's just incredible, and I think possibly we've just been spoiled because I say there's, every bit of music by that point had really, you had your David Whittakers, you had Martin Galway. It was so high quality. But yeah, fantastic. That's the first time I've actually listened to that. I've never heard it. Is Spellbound is it the nighttime character thing?
Yeah, it's a Magic Light one. It's the second game that Magic Light was in, but it is considered the first of the Magic Light trilogy because for some reason they don't include Finders Keepers in the Magic Light series. So it's a slightly unusual piece because it's played in a minor key. It always sounds a bit sort of like doomy and a bit sort of dark to me. And I'm not 100% sure that fits the game all that well. I don't find the game I think is fairly light and fairly innocuous. And the music is quite imposing almost, I mean, that is not a bad thing. I say, I think the music is fucking amazing. It's definitely one of the top 5 Rob Hubbard compositions, I think.
I think that's the closest he's ever got to playing Black Sabbath. Let's put it that way.
Well, yeah.
And was that a budget game? I take it with Mastertronic, yeah.
Yeah, it was on the Mad label, yeah.
For 1 point,
$2.99.
$2.99, yeah.
Not too shabby. Nah, good start. I'll let you go next, Panther.
Let me go next. Right, well, normally I end with this bloke, and normally it's really, really long. But it's tonight I'm starting with a short one. This is the Subtune 6 from Another World by Thomas Detert, and it's not that Another World, it's a completely different Another World. So not only can he out prog Rush, he can also out Vangelis, which is why I chose that one, because that's a bit different to the other Tom ones we've had before. But I really like it. I think he's got a good beat, and I love the way he makes the bass sound whine with the 8580 chip. If there's a strength that Tom's got, it's that deep pitch bend on the bass, and I absolutely love it.
Yeah, bass was what really stood out with that one, wasn't it? Listening to it, I feel that could easily be included into another of his more sort of like prog style ones that carried on going and going. If he had like some sort of like joining part there and then going into another part, that could easily be transformed into another of his, like 20-30 minute long jobs. Yeah, I mean, Thomas Deter, I've got to be honest, until we started doing these videos, I'd never heard of him.
No, me too.
And I now consider him one of the best SID musicians I've ever heard. I have not heard anything that's even mediocre by him. Yeah, that was another great one.
Well, if the thing is,
question.
when I got my Atari ST and then my Amiga, I still had my Commodore 64. I hadn't got rid of it. So much the same as my mate Jeff, I had it set up purely for listening to music, and I used to load stuff up. And I'd never heard of him either until I can't remember if it was Jeff or his brother gave me a copy of Goldie and Tomb and said, well, you like SID music, you've got to play this, but start the game off, just don't go off the first screen, just let it go. And I did, and that's when I discovered him in 1990, 91, and that's it. So, I've got to know him since, but I've always been a massive fan of his music.
Not hard to see why.
Yeah. I mean, just with other musicians, all the regulars, all the well-known ones, you can tell, you can look back at some of Rob Hubbard's early stuff, and then you can compare it with what he did sort of later on, and you can see that they've progressed. His stuff is just absolutely sort of 10 out of 10 from the off, and the quality of some of the sort of the voices he's using. You could easily fool somebody into thinking they're using an Amiga or something. And the fact that I was tapping my foot for that whole thing, it was a lovely piece of music, really, really nice.
Well, Tom has done a cover that I'm going to force upon Chris later on. not in this show, but at some point. He's done a cover, his own remix version of the Green Beret loading music. I want to see if I can finally get a thumbs up for Green Beret from old Lukozer down there.
Sorry.
No, go on.
Was that anything to do with Max Hall, was it? No.
Eh?
Max Hall.
Max Hall what?
In it?
In what?
He does SID stuff, doesn't he, Max Hall?
No, he does a SID show, sort of.
Right, sorry. I thought I saw a video popping up, and I'm sure that's what it was, but maybe not. Maybe thinking something completely different. But
well, I put it. It's the last track, I think, on SID Effects 5. So you might have heard it already, Chris. But yeah, Tom's version of it is shall we say, it's different to the Martin Galway original.
Well, it can't fail to be better, that's for sure.
do me a favour, Chris. Ask Thomas to do a version of Telstar for me and Chris. I can't stop listening to that blasted tune now, honestly.
Oh, the Scar version. Or someone didn't like it in the comments last time.
Yeah, I remember that. Yes.
Another top tune, right? My one. God, we're going right back to, when did it come out? 1985. Now this guy is certainly not renowned as being a musician. He looks more like bloody what do you call him? Hugh Jackman out of the New Avengers, whatever it's called. He used to publish for Cosme, and it's Paul Norman. And this in his own comments, this is his favourite tune. This is the tune he's most pleased with. It's only 45 seconds long, 43 seconds long, but I just think for a short bit of tune, it just grabs you by the bollocks. So
let it roll twice then.
Yeah, we'll let it roll twice. Here we go. And there you have it. Short
There's no
but sweet.
mistaking that was Paul Norman, that's for sure.
No, not at all. You probably know him better from Forbidden Forest, Al.
Well, you know what? I was going through, and I mean, everybody. I mean, Aztec Challenge, I think Forbidden Forest is utterly fantastic. I mean, it's probably one of the most atmospheric bits of music, and it just fits the game perfectly. And that fits super. The game I wasn't overly keen on, but I just always remember the opening scene to the game. You see the big helicopter, and it's kind of rising up, and the blades spinning, and you've got that epic sound. I just think it's a great bit, and the fact that I think he did the graphics. He did everything himself. I think he's
I think he did everything in all of his games, wasn't it? He did the whole lot.
Very talented guy.
Yeah, I mean, I particularly like Aztec Challenge because that's another one that sounds like Tony Iommi could be playing it. It's got a real deep, heavy riff to it.
Yeah, I do like the Aztec Challenge one. And there are some pieces in Forbidden Forest and Beyond, which I think sound good. I dare say I'll get lynched for this, but my favourite piece of music that he did is the victory dance music in Forbidden Forest. So I know loads of people always keep saying, I'm really sick of the old victory dance bit. I don't mind it one bit because I like being able to hear the music that's playing there.
I've never really thought about it. It is a nice piece of music. It's not the music that goes on too long, but the fact you've got to wait for that to finish in between.
Yeah, I don't want that.
Yeah.
No, there's nothing wrong with that at all. I didn't really, because see, the thing is, you see that picture that was up of Paul. He was at the 8-Bit Symphony, and he's someone I would have spoke to, but obviously he looks a bit older than that now, so I didn't recognise him. Otherwise, I'd have spoke to him. So I've stood literally 2 feet away from him, talking to someone. It's just like, there's some American bloke over there, and I had no idea who it was, and it was Paul Norman stood next to me.
Wow. He looks like the kind of guy you would address him as Mr. Norman. And yeah, I absolutely love all your games. So anyway, back to you, Mr. L.
Back to me. Right, well, so my first choice was from 1986. So is this. My first choice was a Mastertronic game, and so is this. So although the first one was a Mad game, this was on the Entertainment USA album. What the fuck am I talking about? Entertainment USA label. So this is David Whittaker, because you can't have too much David Whittaker in these videos. This is Street Surfer. Whoops. Now, does your reaction tell me that we've got a duplicate?
And my next game is Street Surfer by David Whittaker.
Well, it's taken seven videos, but we finally have one.
And that was the one. I got my first four, and I was like, oh fuck! And then I heard that one, and you know what? I actually forgot all about that game. Somebody picked it in a stream a couple of weeks ago, and I remember buying the game. And well, the game's not too bad, but the music are fantastic. And what's interesting about a piece of music, it actually speeds up and slows down depending on how fast you're on a skateboard driving along the middle of the road. Yeah,
I mean, I think the game is pretty good. To be honest, the one bit about it that I'm not that keen on is the way that the music speeds up and slows down during it. It just makes it sound like it's not working properly or something. So yeah, I wish they hadn't included that and just left the music going at the regular tempo.
Yeah.
But I mean, the game itself, yeah, it's pretty simple, but yeah, it's not bad. And considering it is just a budget release, yeah, a $1.99 game, the road routine in it is so much better than a lot of the full price games out there. I mean, it makes a fucking mockery of the likes of Super Hang On and Enduro Racer. I mean, fucking hell.
But yeah, sorry, Chris.
I was going to say this. There might be a few people watching and listening that wouldn't have heard that tune all the way through without it again. I'm speeding up and slowing down and speeding up and slowing down again.
Yeah, that's it. Now you finally get to hear what it's supposed to sound like at the correct speed. So there you go.
Yeah.
You know,
it's a service I provide.
What's interesting though, the guy we're talking about 5 minutes ago, Paul Norman, Forbidden Forest, it's actually played faster in the game than it is if you listen to the SID tune. It's very slow because it speeds up and slows down in the game as well. So when you play it at normal speed, it sounds kind of slow.
Is that not just that it's an NTSC SID that's being played in a PAL
Well, I
emulator?
I didn't even know that was a thing. Maybe it is.
Yeah,
I don't know.
that
what
can
it is?
affect it. Yeah. So,
Right, okay. But no, that's a fantastic. I hate to say this when I say I'm not a fan of David Whittaker. I think he's put out some great stuff. He's got a very jingly, jangly, jolly sound. I mean, I think did he not do Bomb Jack?
no,
No,
that
Was Mark. That was Mark
Brooksy.
with the bad hairdo. No, anyway, but yeah, I mean, some of David Whittaker stuff's fantastic. It's not really my thing, but I think that's a fantastic bit. Hence the reason I picked it as well.
So have you got a replacement for that one now?
No. Do you want me to go? I'll find one. I'll find one. Don't worry.
I'd find one in between if I was you. But yeah, no, I like David Whittaker's stuff. He's got his own quintessential sound. You know, you can hear a David Whittaker. We've said all this before, but you can hear a David Whittaker song and know it's a David Whittaker song. And that's not a bad thing.
One thing I do particularly like about this piece is that it was the third Mastertronic release of a sculptured software game. The first two had music by Jim Cuomo, so thankfully they told him to fuck off and they got David Whittaker in to do this one. A marked improvement.
I say it's taken 6 and a bit shows, but I've come to the conclusion you're not a fan of Jim Cuomo, are you?
Well, yeah, I don't want to give the impression that I'm on the fence about it, you know. I think you may be onto something there.
I think the fence is well and truly on the other side of that wall behind you, mate.
Don't be ridiculous. You'll be saying he hates bloody Rainbow Islands and that's fucking hell. Oh, is my webcam gone really blurred? I've been fucking.
Yes, it has.
I don't know what's going on with it. Hell's going on?
Yeah, you've adjusted the sharpness.
Some might say that's actually better, but anyway.
Yeah, they would.
And if you have, you just could fuck off. Anyway, let's need to sit further back. I noticed my Vectrex is in. Seems to be. That doesn't matter. You can look at the Vectrex. Anyway, yeah, I can't disagree with that. That second choice, cracking, good taste.
Oh yeah, right.
Right, Right, back to you, Panther. Choice
Oh.
number 2.
Yeah, it is still a shock that it's taken that long for there to be a duplicate come out.
Yeah.
Is that the first show we've had a duplicate, really?
Yeah.
Well,
first one.
you've duplicated across
Yeah.
shows, but not in the same
I'm
show.
duplicating myself. That's a
Right, this one is a cover song, but it's a cover song of a demo from 1989, and the original artist was Rock, who I believe is Sammy Seppa. I think I've got his name right. But this is, I just discovered this, I think I was listening to a SID Show or something, and it's called Demo Tune 10. It's by a guy who I've played a song before, Antti Hanula, who goes by the name Flex, and this is from 2015, but it's a remake of a song from 1989. Right, now before you remove the reason for this screen we've got here, I just want to play you the very beginning of the original of that, because there's a comment I want to make about it. I want to know where Antti Hanula found that fucking bass drum sound from. There's no samples. It had so much meat to it compared to the original. And there's nothing wrong with that one, because I listened to that one as well. But the bass drum on that newer version is unbelievable for a Commodore 64.
Yeah. Listening to that, that small extract that you played of the original, it has me thinking I'd really like to hear a version that has the drums sound from the version that you played full, and the bass and melodic part from the original combined. I think you'd have like the definitive version of that then. Yeah, the drum sound was very noticeable. Considering, when did you say that one was written?
89, the first one, and 2015 was the newer one.
Oh, okay, right, okay. Because I thought it was an earlier one. I was thinking, well, drum sound for how old that is sounds phenomenal. 2015, okay, yeah, we'd musicians had improved drum sound immensely by then, as we've been hearing throughout these vids. Yeah, not bad at all.
Yeah, no, mightily impressive. Really, really nice tune.
Yeah, I do like that. I heard it on another SID show, and I was like, "Oh, this is really good." And I remembered it when it's in my my hit list of tunes that I've got for doing this, and I was going through them last week. I thought, well, I'm gonna have this one this time because I really do like it. I mean, it's only when I was looking, I typed demo tune 10 into the search engine, it come up twice, and I thought, what's Rock doing one? Because I know Sammy Sepper does demo tunes now still. We've had one of his on before from 2018, I think it come out, the one we had from him before. So I was like, well, hey, it can't be the same tune, and I played it, and I thought, well, it fucking well is. And so yeah, it's a cover of a demo tune. I didn't think things like that existed.
I suppose that's a great thing. We're now the SID sort of demo scene or whatever it is, music scene. It's now mature enough that we're now getting remakes of original tunes.
Yeah,
which is pretty good.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I think that's been happening for longer than you might imagine. I mean, it was an Amiga demo, but I mean, I had an Amiga demo back in, I think it was 90, that had a cover of the Cybernoid 2. I think it was Cybernoid 2, yeah, it was, music. Admittedly, it was nowhere near as good as Your Own Tales original, but there it was anyway.
Just out of curiosity, has anybody tried to do any of you guys listen to Amiga music at all?
Nowhere near as much as I do SID music, but yeah, occasionally I do. Yeah,
just be curious to hear like a remake of like Monty in the Run or something. I mean, I've heard Chris Abbott's. There's probably is.
Yeah, there's bound to be one out there somewhere.
The funny thing is,
they've done the definitive one there, haven't they, with the orchestra? So.
Yeah.
But any non-orchestra version, I always think it hasn't improved on the original. The original was just like a 10 out of 10 for me anyway. But anyway, cracking.
What was the one that Rob Hubbard did with Ben Daglish?
Monty in the Run. No, not Monty in the Run.
Monty.
Alvider's Monty.
I prefer that to the Monty on the Run tune myself.
That's another cracker, really. But anyway, since I had the carpet pulled from underneath me, I've just had to hastily Google one. So I've gone for Martin Galway now. I'm sure I remember buying this game because I loved the original and I thought it's going to be fantastic. And the game was shit, but I'm sure the music was good. If it's not, you can flog me later. And this is this is Year Kung Fu 2. sounds like he was just sort of fucking about in his music room. You can hear I don't know, the backing track is from one of his other ones. I don't know, was it Rambo or something? I'm not sure.
Well, that was struggling with the filters, I think, as well. I mean, it's certainly not Martin's best work.
No.
I wouldn't say I dislike it. It's just one of them ones I'm indifferent to. I mean, it was a pretty shit game compared to the arcade. And the arcade weren't that good.
Yeah. I mean, for a musician who is well known for heavy use of filters, he went berserk with them in this one. It's by far the best thing about the game, but that's not saying a lot. Yi Kung Fu 2 is really it's shit out of a dog's arse. And I remember when I remember when I suffered playing it while doing the review of the thing. Oh, it's such a hateful game experience. And my favourite Gans Teeth review actually is when he reviewed Yi Kung Fu 2, and even he tore it to shreds. And he's normally like always trying to find something positive to say about a game. No, he just ripped it apart. So yeah, the game is just absolute fucking shite. The music, I think my biggest problem with it is the association with the game. You know, if you listen to it on its own, it's not terrible, but it's falls well short of the sort of standard you expect from Galway.
Yeah. It wouldn't have been one where I picked had a bit of time. I mean, he said here, I just tried to come up with a crazy way of settling on a beginning note. My favourite beginning note, of course, G. Almost everything I do is in G. So I plugged in this echoing waveform thing and let it rip. That just about
certainly did
up.
that, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's still a nice wee tune.
I was going to give my chips a workout recording it. I know that much. Well, my 6581 is not very fond of Martin Galway's filter use, and I've noticed that when doing recordings, like my Justice album I did for the 8-Bit Symphony, the last Kickstarter. The Martin Galway stuff on that was recorded by Alistair Bowness, who most people know as Boz. I don't know if you know him or not. He had Martin Galway's 128 with his original sound chip in. I mean, you've got the Project Galway album, haven't you, Chris?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, what I did was I tried Terra Cresta just to see what would happen if I removed my 6581 and put Martin's one in instead and used my 8580 with it. And needless to say, Mr. Abbott was quite pleased with the sound. So I think I've only got to do Times of Law for the 8-Bit Symphony 2. So I'm going to have a go at record. I've got to connect up a disk drive because the SID plays too fast in SID player. So I've got to connect up a disk drive so I can play the Martin Galway music demo to record the music. Then I've got to strip out my 6581 and put Martin's one in instead. So it's going to be fun because that's a 9-minute track I've got to play with.
So you have got Martin Galway's 6581 that he was using when he was composing music.
No, that's the Project Galway album used Martin Galway's Commodore 128 to record that album. He lent his 128 to Chris Abbott and Boz to record the album.
Yeah.
So I've got a FLAC recording of that album, and I'm going to use that recording and mix it with my recording because it worked for Terra Cresta.
Oh, okay, right. Yeah, I got you now. Right.
Yeah, because some of my 6581 on my SID Effects machine, some of the filter usage that Martin Galway has gets a bit fuzzy at the top end. And I've been told Martin can be a bit prickly about that. So
yeah,
I don't upset our composer.
No, I mean, there are plenty of 6581s that are like that. I remember my one, quite a few SIDs that used a lot of filters sound really different to how they sound when I hear them either on like SID Play or if I hear like your recordings of them on your SID FX stuff. But then, when you got a custom chip and chances are no two chips are the same, then, it's inevitable.
Well, yeah, I know. I remember Jeff's. I played him my recording of Light Force, and he goes, "I've never heard it like this." He went, "Why not?" He goes, "One of our SID channels never used to play it properly." He said there was nothing wrong with his SID chip, but the filter channel on Light Force was sounded. You know how you said it sounded a bit rough when we listened to it through Deep Vid?
Yeah.
He said that's what his one used to sound like because the filters were shagged, but only for that song.
Yeah.
I wonder when they were recording tunes if they actually played it. I mean, I never, until fairly recently, I never realised that a tune on one C64 wouldn't sound exactly the same on another one. I wonder if they actually, like when Hubbard and Co were doing them, if they actually tested them on a number of different machines, do you think?
I'm pretty sure Galway didn't. I'm pretty sure he's just basically, he had his like 64 and then his 128 purely in mind when he was composing. I don't know about anyone else, but I can't imagine there would be too many who would be like playing them on various other 64s.
That's it. If you get the Project Galway album for, I think they've still got it on c64audio.com. Because that was recorded from Martin's 128, it sounds exactly as they were intended to sound.
Mm-hmm. Good.
It's
Right,
definitely
Mr. Hill,
worth
back
getting
to you.
as well.
Yeah.
Back to me. Right, well, I'm pretty sure this one is not going to be duplicated. So this one's much more recent. This is 2018, and this is by the musician who, thanks to one of these videos again, I now consider to be the greatest SID musician I've ever heard, and yet this is only the second time he's appeared in any of these videos, which should give you a pretty good clue. So it's Marcus Klein, aka L-Man, and this is Rebel Rebel. There you go. Not exactly an out cover of the Bowie track. You did sort of stray away from it a bit.
Did that little nod to Star Wars? That didn't appear in the Bowie one, did it?
No, it didn't. No.
No, I know. Well, I can tell you exactly why the Star Wars is in there. There was a free disc demo that come out a couple of years ago, the Sensor Design Star Wars demo, and there's the Star Wars music, the Cantina music, all the favourites from Star Wars, and there was a bit with pictures of like the rebels on it, and that's the piece of music that played, the Rebel Rebel. So it's got a bit of Star Wars in it to link it back into the demo it was a part of.
Marcus Klein did all of the music for that, didn't he? Because when I was going through his tunes, I was determined to get a Marcus Klein SID in this video, and I saw like a lot of Star Wars stuff, including the Cantina music there. So the fact that you just saying about it was from that particular demo, that's got to be those pieces that I was listening to.
Yeah, I think it was him. I think someone else did some of it as well, but he did a fair few pieces from what I could work out anyway.
But it looks like this is using the same technique that he used in Hi-Fi Sky. When I uploaded my video of it, I'm sure you've both seen it. Well, I know Chris has definitely seen it. I'm assuming Al has seen it as well.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, and during like the intro, I was talking about it, and I was saying, oh yeah, the good thing about this is it doesn't use very many samples. Of course, it turns out it does use quite a few. But the technique that he uses, which he was explaining in one of his comments that he left on my video there, meant that because I was going by the scope display that you could see during playing, I always thought, oh, okay, no, that's actually the SID doing it. There's no samples. But it turns out that what he was doing, he has samples playing at exactly the same time that the SID is doing its thing. So that it sort of like cleans up the samples that are playing and makes them sound better. And it does make a hell of a difference. And I'm fairly sure that's what he's doing here as well. It does look, if you look at the scope, it does look like there are samples being used.
Possibly. I didn't see it saying there was samples being played up under where it gives you the PAL and the sound chip bit.
All right.
So possibly. He moves in mysterious ways, does Marcus.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, I mean,
it's like magic.
Yeah, that's it. The way he puts music together on the SID there, it's almost impossible to predict. Hopefully, he can hear this and let us know.
I shall pass it on once it goes live, mate.
Yeah.
No, another fantastic piece. And again, I've said before, what I love about these, I mean, my kind of knowledge of SID's music tends to be older stuff, older kind of classic stuff, and getting to kind of exposed to, modern. Was that 2015? That one, I think, was it Lukozer?
2018. That one.
2018. So and are these guys still? Is Marcus still putting out SID tunes?
There was one that came out this year, and I was very close to choosing that one, but I thought, nah, this one will edge it, because I'm a big fan of Rebel anyway. I do like some Bowie stuff, not all of it, but that's definitely one I do like.
Marcus has just put out a vinyl album of SID music, and you can also buy, I don't know, it's like 40 or 50 euro. You can also buy a cartridge with the same music on it to plug into a real 64 and play it through your television, and that come out this year. Oh, so wow. Yeah, he's a maniac of noise, and he's still very much active.
Yeah, and you think he's part of Maniacs of Noise, and he's also part of Red Sector, who are, for me anyway, two of the biggest names in chiptune music. Although I've always associated Red Sector with the Amiga more so than the 64, but they're now doing a lot of C64 stuff, including games. So yeah, they're still very active.
Fantastic.
Well,
back to you, Panther, I think. Yep.
Right. Well, I'm going to 2013. I'm sticking with the Maniacs of Noise, but I'm playing a song by a guy called Thomas Moggensen, who goes by the name of Drax. Now, I don't know how accurate I'm going to get this story, but when I was talking to Gaia Gielta earlier in the year, he sent me a PRG of this, like a program file to load up. And from what I could gather from Gear, this was Thomas Moggensen's mum passed away, and like all good artists, he put his bitterness, his anger, and his sorrow, and his heartache, and he went and put it into a SID, and he wrote a SID called Mother, And I don't think it's not depressing by any stretch of the imagination, but I've never heard of someone doing a tribute of a piece of music like that on an old computer before. So for me, it was a standout track. It does help that it's a rather spiffy bit of music as well. There you go. What a way to pay tribute to your mum.
If I hadn't heard that was by Drax there, I would have sworn blind that was a Your Own Tell piece. That sounds so much like Your Own Tell sort of music style, and that is by no means an insult.
No, of course not.
Yeah, I thought that was fucking great. So the fact that, well, as I've said in videos before, it's going to it reminds me so much of Your Own Tell, who does not make bad music at all. Yeah, that's a winner.
Yeah, it's a nice piece. It's a kind of tune you could just listen to in the car quite easily. Just washes over you, but nice kind of, really nice kind of bass. I don't know whether it was just the SID, deep SID thing, but the volume was kind of dipping a wee bit. But obviously, hopefully the version that the viewers are going to hear is going to be a bit louder. But no, excellent piece. Just exactly what you said, Lukozer. Beautiful piece. Really nice.
They're not just going to be viewers anymore, mate. Listeners as well now. Your podcast in the future.
Well, I'm still waiting for the last Friday waffle to be approved. I mean, it's already been rated as an X because of Lukozer swearing, but
So yeah, blame me.
yeah, hopefully we get that going. But nothing fantastic. That's another cracking piece.
Yeah, I mean, I really like that anyway. I mean, and I suppose, like Chris was saying, it is very Tell-esque, but then Drax is a member of the Maniacs of Noise, and they've all sort of triangled out from that sort of Maniacs of Noise sound, because they all used to sort of work together. I mean, like I think it was in the second SID show, I played the song Artillery by Gayeth Gelter, and that has got, you could link that to Go and Tell as well, and they're all similar but different. So yeah, I get exactly what you mean.
Are they still using the audio drivers that Charles Deanan made for them, or are they now using their own?
I don't know. I'm just have a scroll down. They use a lot of players. It looks like most of them are done on the JCH new player version 20. Apparently, if I scroll down the page,
right?
I don't know
what, doesn't mean.
I don't know what old Charlie's player was.
I think it was just called Charles Deanan's player.
No, the only thing I can see that really sort of does that is the Laxity sound player, or Laxity new player. The name I recognise. I don't know, mate.
Okay. Just wondering. I was wondering if that might be one of the reasons why they had that very distinctive sound. That as soon as you hear it, it's like, yeah, that's a Maniacs of Noise piece. You know.
Yeah,
I was just wondering if that might have been it.
It's entirely possible. But yeah, as you both say, that is a fantastic piece of music. I can't believe it's taken me that long to put it into a show, but when we're only doing 5, it's hard work remembering them all.
Something like 49,000 pieces of music we've not yet included.
Yeah, most of them are Oxygen 6. Anyway, carry on.
Well, I'm doing my damnedest best, but anyway. Right, rolling things back a wee bit. This is a cover of a piece of music by a chap called Chopin, if this thing's correct. And it's a piece of music my mum used to listen to, and you know, I was exposed to classical music at a very young age, and I always just liked. I just thought it was a really nice piece of music. And this is by what's his name? This is by Wesley Knowles, and it's Nocturne in E flat. Hopefully. Well, Mr. L, you're the classical expert. What do you think of that?
Well, yeah, I do like me orchestral stuff. Chopin was of the classical era. I'm not a Chopin fan.
That's a good start.
Yeah, the thing with Chopin is his stuff is technically impressive. I just find it totally disposable. Yeah, I'm not really a fan. I've got to say there were a few bum notes in there. I don't know what it is about. There have been a few times when I've been looking for like orchestral or classical SIDs, and I keep finding them in that .mus format. They don't sound that great to me. They almost sound a bit like Commodore 64 equivalents of MIDI files. Maybe that's what they are, I don't know. But I think they are different to SID files. You want me to be brutally honest? There were times in that it sounded like it was Les Dawson playing it. It's not one of my favourite pieces, and it wasn't a particularly great rendition of it.
Apart from that, you loved it.
yeah. Apart from that, it was fantastic. Yeah.
Well, we often say how basic the early music was, and if you take away your preference for composers and the bum notes out of that, the actual music itself, you can see why the SID chip in its beginnings gained ground because of what it could do, because that did sound that had that sort of French cafe sound to it. The type of notes it was using. And, regardless of whether we like Chopin or not, I mean, I don't really know Chopin that well. I mean, I know that song. I'm not a aficionado. My sort of classical music is like Wagner and the stuff that's basically thrash metal without distortion. So, that's quite twee for me. But you could hear what they was doing and using the free channels to do that and make it sound serviceable. So it is always good to look back on these, if nothing more than like a historical curio.
And well, a couple of other things to point out. When he said Chopin, I had like about 3 or 4 titles going through my head, and I was thinking, please don't let it be that. So at least it wasn't any of those. It was one of his that's a little more tolerable. The other thing, because that display you've got there with the keyboard, so it makes it look like he's using 3 keyboards there, because when it was composed and when Chopin himself would perform it, it was all done on one. So that's what I mean about technical ability. His compositions, especially if it's just like solo piano pieces, they really were, I think, more about showing technical ability rather than being like a full-blown piece. That's why they were always so short, and he wrote hundreds like that. And I think the majority of them, it was to show what can be done and to show like piano playing techniques rather than actually listen to this because of how great it is, sort of thing. If that makes any sense at all.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
What you're saying is Amiga is the classical music equivalent of the Bong demo in Amiga. He showed just what could be done, yeah.
Sort of, yes. I mean, he wasn't. There were, believe me, there were composers that were far worse for doing that sort of thing. Chopin did do a lot of other stuff that was far better than just his solo piano stuff, but for some reason it's always his solo piano work that gets notifications. Seems to have survived a hell of a lot. Yeah.
But I mean, I've included it not because it's particularly technical masterpiece, and I think this show that we do is, I mean, by and large, most of the tunes we include are they blow your socks off, and it's like wow. But I think it's all about celebrating the SID. And if I had that tune back in 1985, I would have loaded it up on my disc drive and listened to it because it makes me happy. And I think it's a nice piece of music. Albeit I know he didn't write it, but yeah, it's just about showcasing what the SID could do, both early stuff and more modern stuff.
Well, I've just played a song which a guy wrote in reverence to his mum passing. You wrote a song that reminds you of your mum, so I'm expecting Lukozer now to give us his mum's favourite shoot 'em up music. Otherwise, it won't fit, will it?
No, it's actually looking at what I've got next. No, this really isn't going to fit at all.
No, that was all right, Al. It's good to go to a happy place with your music.
Yeah. Right. Back to you, Lukozer. Choice number 3. 3, 4. 3.
4.
4.
Right. Right. Yeah. Actually, I'm just about to. I had mine in a particular order, but I'm about to change it. Right. So we had. One classical pieces then. So we'll continue with the classical theme, sort of, with this one. So this, oh God, this is by another Polish one. Right. Michael Relkowski. Yeah, that's as close as I'm likely to get with that. This is just
goes
called...
well on the triple word score, that one.
Yeah, it does, yeah. So this is called simply Classic Mix from 1994.
I take it that was tonight's comedy section.
I'm fucking lost for words. I'll let you go first.
Well, I managed to pick out. Sounded like obviously the Can. Was there some 1812 overture in there? And I believe it started with the theme from Dixie. And there was another one. I know the tune, but I don't know the name of it. But there was one in between the Can and the 1812 overture.
Yeah, it started with the theme from Dixie. I haven't got a clue who did that. Then it went into 1812 overture, Tchaikovsky. It went then into the Radetzky March, I think is the one you're not sure of the title of, by Johann Strauss the Elder. and then finished with the Gallop Infernal, or the Can as it's become known as, by Jacques Offenbach. Yeah, what a mixture.
What a photograph. Dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum. Aye, I mean, it's absolutely something I would never listen to for pleasure. But I mean, you know, they've taken, I was going to say shit tunes, they've taken kind of what I would kind of term as novelty tunes. And I mean, the use, I mean, there was the can, there was a bit of like the sort of drums, and you know, the actual instruments he's using are absolutely fantastic.
Mm.
Painting a tub possibly is the sort of term that springs to mind. But no, I mean, it was impressive, but I wouldn't listen to it.
Yeah. Right. So I'll now be completely honest. It's shit, isn't it? Right? There's a reason why I chose it, and it's not because I think it's good. I think it's fucking shite. I was desperately trying to find, because I thought, right, you know, there's plenty of like classical music, you know, versions on the 64, and I was trying to find the Radetzky March, which is one of my favourites, and I could only find 3 versions. Believe it or not, that was the best version of it I could find. Fucking what? Yeah, not a winner.
It would, I don't know, be a bit like it would be a bit like, I don't know, Shark Exorcist, directed by Steven Spielberg. You're taking a shit and you're giving it, you're polishing it. You know what I mean?
Well, apart from the theme from Dixie, which I can't stand, all the other pieces of music there I think are great. So you'd think that, you know, something that combines, you know, bits of those other 3 would be all right. No, I mean, for one thing, it's played at such a fucking pace. Yeah, the tempo is so fast. You could easily have that overlaid over a Benny Hill chase scene from his 80s show. Yeah, it's just way too fast. And I say again, especially with the Radetzky March. But then the other versions that I found, one of them was so fucking slow that I could have marched to it, and the other, even though it was made in something like 1996, sounded like it had been programmed in 1982. It was just awful. So yeah, that was the best version of it I could find.
Let's just back up a second here. The theme from Dixie.
Yeah.
Yes, it is shit. Unless it's the Dwayne Eddy version, in which case it's all fucking right, mate.
Okay. I don't think I'm familiar with Dwayne Eddy's version of it. That's Dwayne Eddy's Peter Gunn bloke, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I grew up with that. My dad's got it on original, I don't know, 1950s or early 60s 7-inch single. So I grew up with that song, and my dad had Mark III Cortina with a dual Weber that went like shit off a shovel that had that on there.
He didn't have an 8-track cartridge in it, though, did he?
No, he didn't have an 8-track.
No. It's not proper 70s if it ain't got 8-track cartridge there.
I hope he wasn't trying to ram other cars off the road when he was going
don't. I know this has got nothing to do with this show. We were where my mum and dad lived. There's a road that goes down. It's a dual carriageway that goes into one in between these 2 reservoirs. And there was a guy in a brand new XR3i, and he was driving it like the wrapping had come off, and he didn't want to hit anything. And he was going so slow, and it was looked like it had just literally come off the forecourt. And my dad went down the outside of him, drew level, put his foot down, and went na 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 na, and this guy went like that behind his steering wheel. And it's one of my greatest memories as a kid. It's like, yeah, Dad, you're cool. Anyway, I digress.
You'll be telling us your mum's Daisy Duke next.
She was. I wouldn't have moved out of home.
Oh no, that's a very American answer, that, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I was trying to fit in with a deep south thing.
Right, come on, Panther. We need you to raise the fucking bar a bit. We're kind of getting into the depths of despair with that one. Jesus.
Oh, dear.
That's why I wanted you two to comment first. I don't know if you could tell while it was playing. I was sitting here desperately trying not to laugh at the fucking thing. I was really eager to try and keep a straight face. I don't know if it worked or not. But...
Well, that's not really.
No.
That's why I asked if that was the comedy.
Yeah.
He was expecting me to say that's actually a fucking fantastic piece.
I've only got so much diplomacy, mate. Right, do you want to return to something normal?
Yeah.
Please
absolutely.
do, yeah.
Yeah.
Maniacs and Eyes,
There we go.
Jar and Tell, Hawkeye. Give a 16-year-old a Commodore 64. He's good at music. That's what happens.
Is he 16-year-old when he did that? Really? What the hell? God, that's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, that one.
I mean, I'm a bit biased with all things that Jay does because I've become quite chummy with him, but you know, it's not unfounded bias. You know, he is really fucking good at what he does.
Yeah. He was one of those musicians who I think was able to take advantage of the foundations that have been set by, you know, the original sort of like, you know, big names, Hubbard, Galway and that. They set the bar, and these like future musicians say, so you had like your own tells, your Chris Hulsbeck to a degree, were able to sort of like take what they had done and build on it, and they really built on it, and they just raised the bar even higher. And by the time these guys had come along, of course, we'd already got to the point where music in 64 games was not just, you know, oh, it's great to have it. It was becoming essential. If any publisher was bringing out a 64 game, it not only had to have music, but it had to have, you know, great music in there. So it was great that we had, you know, the likes of Rontel that came along, and they surpassed it. Yeah, that is a great piece. That's one I uploaded to my music, you know, my game music channel quite a while ago. I think that was actually the first Rontel one that I uploaded. I don't think it's quite as good as Eliminator, which I think was the best piece he did, but it's not far behind it.
Yeah, well, the thing is, you say about him building on stuff. He told me, because I've had, like, sometimes he'll phone me up because we're talking about this stop-start sort of music project we've been doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's working on his own music project, and obviously with the global situation, it hasn't been a smooth year for doing it. So I'm not going to rush him. He'll do it when he's ready. I've had half of it back. Anyway, he'll phone me up for sort of like a quick chat, and we'll just end up like just yakking for sort of like 3 hours, pretty like what me and you do when we're on Elite.
Yeah, we play Elite, yeah.
And he told me that Rob Hubbard put his phone number in a magazine when he was first starting out to get freelance work. And he had a copy of this magazine, and once Rob had become a bit more established, he used to phone him up when he was like 13 or 14 and talk to him about music. So that's why I've got a picture of them two talking in a pub. They was like, you know, a few feet away from me, where I bought Rob a drink. And I bought Jay a drink as well, talking about music, and being an outsider stood there listening to this conversation. I mean, I was pretty pissed by that point, but my sober went like that as these two were stood there in front of me talking about arpeggios and bass beats and that, and I was like, I'm stood here listening to Rob Hubbard and Jar and Tell in a pub. This is brilliant. So he used to pester. So Rob's kind of, I suppose, he went under Rob's wing a bit, and Rob kind of mentored him when he was like 14, 15 years old, because he used to phone him up and bug him in the middle of the night, sort of thing.
I was going to say, just to kind of carry on what Lukozer was saying, I mean, to compare them with darts, I mean, Martin Galway was quite clearly Jockey Wilson. Rob Hubbard was Eric Bristol, and obviously we've got Michael Van Gerwen, which is your own tell. You know what I mean? They've taken a fantastic thing and just built in it, and they're now, I'm not saying they're better musicians, but you know, they're the stuff they're putting out there. One thing that came across in that piece there was a lot of the music we listen to it's just purely instrumental, but he makes the SID chip sing. He puts he puts in a vocal performance as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you were really unlucky if you bought the Amiga version of that game, weren't you, Chris?
I mean, some of us in our infinite wisdom decided to go out and buy the Amiga version, where that piece of music got completely removed, and instead you had ultra generic, bland fucking bollocks put in its place. Have either of you actually heard the music of the Amiga version of Hawkeye?
Yeah, I have.
I mean, What the fuck was that? They
It weren't
took
very
that.
good.
Yeah, they took that your own tailpiece out and put that in instead. I mean, are they taking the piss or what?
Do you think they could have somehow taken the SID chip or the SID tune and just put it into the Amiga so that the Amiga could have played it and just made it sound like for like? Was that something they could have done?
Yeah, they could have done that.
They could have done that, yeah.
It would have been far better to have done that, but
Yeah,
Even if they'd have
it would have
sampled
been.
it.
yeah. Yeah, fantastic. Good. Right, back to me, number 4. Sticking with, we're going to go back in time, and this one needs no introduction. It's Eric Bristol, and it's one of his final synth samples. Now, I first came across this. I had CompuNet, which was basically to the younger viewers, it was the internet of its day, and all you could really do was download pictures by Bob Stevenson or SID tunes, and there was a thing called, it was like a demo disc. It was on a disc, and I mean, there's 26 bits of music in this particular disc image, and they're all fantastic. But in particular, I've gone for track number 5, and it's simply called Final Synth Sample. You can hear a lot of Monty on the Run esque type sound. So anyway, here we go. Small but perfectly formed. If there's any budding SID musicians out there, then go and listen to him. He's the master of that. It's just fantastic. Lovely bit of music.
Yeah, that's pretty much Rob noodling about and making a song out of it.
Yeah, I'm not hugely familiar with a lot of his stuff that he did for demos and all that. I think the only one I really know well is his cover of Zuluk, which I think everybody knows that one. So yeah, it definitely had that sort of final piece of music for that particular, whether it was a demo disc or whatever. Yeah, it definitely had that final piece sort of sound to it, didn't it?
Yeah, it was very, very reminiscent of the Monty on the Run high score music. I could see what you were saying about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Apparently, it was used. I mean, it came out in 1985, and that was used in a game called Shootout in 1988 by Martech. I was on the Atari ST at that point, sadly, but
I don't remember the game.
Don't know the game.
Yeah, but yeah, awesome. But that's definitely worth a listen to. Final Synth. There's Final Synth Sample 1 and Sample 2, and each one's got about half a dozen tunes. They're all fantastic.
Well, you'll be surprised to hear that I've recorded all of them.
Oh, have you really? Oh, fantastic.
I've recorded everything Rob Hubbard did. Even all the sound effects on Jeff Capes and Samantha Fox strip poker. I literally, if it was in a SID and I could record it, I recorded the whole lot for Project Hubbard. Yeah, so there isn't even his new ones. As it stands, I don't think there's a piece of work Rob did that I haven't recorded for him.
Everything's good. Brilliant. So on to the very last piece for the three of us.
Right. Well, the good news is this one, you've already recorded this one then, because I'm going back to Rob Hubbard as I started. It would help if I actually had remembered to put it up.
I ain't going to start with a theme from Dixie, is it?
No, you're okay this time. So this is a game that came out in 1980. When did it come out? 85. It's not a Mastertronic game, but I think a lot of people are going to recognise this from a totally different game and even a totally different computer. So this is from the human race, and it is specifically the music for level 4.
That's fantastic.
Right, bonus point to the viewers if anyone can actually guess what game that was for.
I'm pretty sure they'll recognise that. Yeah, it was used on the Atari ST and Amiga versions. And it was Rob Hubbard who did it for that other game as well. Are we gonna sit here and not mention it, or yeah? Okay,
No,
so
mention it, yeah.
okay, yeah. So yeah, it's a Gold Runner. I'm pretty sure that the reason it got used in that was because Rob Hubbard clearly saw that the game wasn't much cop. So he just thought, well, I'm not going to compose a new piece for this, so I'll just take one I've already done and shove it on this.
Yeah, probably the difficulty of the human race. He probably figured that only anyone had ever heard that one.
I was just going to say, yeah, he chose that one because the game was so fucking difficult. Well, no one's heard this one before. We'll put that one on. It is weird that he only used 2 channels for that one. The third channel is completely silent throughout. Really? I've no idea why he did that.
When you think of the human race, you always think of the opening track. It's got a lot of nice wee kind of birdies, twinkling sort of sound effects going on, but
yeah, I mean, the thing with the human race is it's the music in it is great. I personally, I think that is the best piece from the whole game. But there isn't really a piece of music in it that is not, that isn't any good. But the game, the fucking game is horrendous, isn't it?
It's not the best, is it? It's like, you're talking about things like Finders, Keepers and Spellbound for your 2 or 3 quid. And what was that? Was 2 or 3 quid as well, weren't it? It's like, I never want to play that again.
Is it not a bit like Chiller, where you've just kind of got to kind of jump onto trees or whatever it is, kind of?
Well, I think Chiller, okay, musically it wasn't as good, and visually Chiller was pretty awful. But the game itself, I didn't mind it. I mean, it wasn't fantastic, but it wasn't terrible. The human race was terrible, though.
It's got its following, though. There are people that really like it and can complete it, and good luck to them.
Yeah, I've seen some videos of people completing the game. It's just, how the fuck can you do that? Yeah, I mean, it really tried my patience. It wasn't until, after I got my PC and I got like the SID files and that I ever even heard the music for levels 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Just going to say, I mean, I think we've mentioned that before. It must have been fucking galling for these guys to put out some cracking music, and for the original game to be shit, so nobody bought it. Conversely, nobody would hear the music, or in the case of that one, nobody ever got to level 4, so that piece of music was completely unheard of.
I'm not sure, to be honest. I mean, they got paid for their work, so I doubt they really gave a shit.
Probably. We probably placed far more emphasis on it than these guys did. I wonder what Mastertronic thought of that Microdeal had nicked one of their tunes, or would Rob Hubbard own that, do you think?
I assume Rob Hubbard owned if there was any copyright on it. So yeah, he was free to do what he liked.
That was the argument that Matt Gray, Ben Daglish and Ren Auerhand were having with System 3 when they was doing the Ninja Musicology. I'm not going to use the guy's name, but one of the guys at System 3 basically said, that's our IP, you can't use it. And Ben and Matt Gray were like, hang on, we retain the rights to that music. So instead of calling it the Last Ninja Musicology, it just became the Ninja Musicology, and it had to be a note on there, like, featuring music that appeared in copyright The Last Ninja or System 3 or whatever. But yeah, as it turns out, for the most part, the guys own their music. So that's why, if you used to look at my YouTube channel, where I put my SID Effects video out every other week, a lot of them have got copyright strikes because Ben's music, I know that any royalties go to his widow. I'm fine with that. If you see an advert on my channel for any of the music, then you suck it up, buttercup, or turn my channel off, because I get a copyright claim from Matt, Ben, not always Rob Hubbard, occasionally, but it's normally them. I pick up a copyright claim. It doesn't affect my channel at all, but it means there might be an advert at the beginning and any money will go to them guys, and I don't have an issue with that whatsoever.
Yeah, not at all. Not at all, yeah. Right, back to you, Panther, I think, your last one.
Right, well, talking of Ben Daglish, this is, I suppose, could have become quite a poignant song, because had he have been alive, he was going to be conducting this on stage with his towels out and everything, conducting this song. And I normally finish with a long one, and this week's going to be no different. So I give you, from the mighty Ben Daglish, Trap. Have that.
I'll tell you, if there was ever any doubt that man doesn't deserve the place in the A-listers of SID, that's the tune. I mean, that to me, that's been the best tune all night. It's a fucking stunning tune. I don't think I've actually listened to it all the way through until then, and he is absolute masterpiece of epic pieces. I mean, they just fit the games perfectly. That's an amazing piece. There's no weakness in it at all. It's a beautiful piece, and it actually makes me really sad sitting here looking at Ben to think he's no longer here. But we've been talking about how modern musicians have really pulled the standard up. Well, Ben's no longer here; he can't do that. But by fuck, what a legacy he's left!
Oh yeah,
And I hope,
definitely.
awesome. Sadly missed. Amazing piece.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way that could not have been composed without the intention of I want to hear how this sounds if it was played by an orchestra. That had an orchestra in mind right from the start, surely.
Yeah, well, you'd think so. I mean, and it has been played by an orchestra, and it's just a shame he weren't there to see it.
Yeah, actually, I was going to ask about that. When they performed it, did they do it in its entirety? Didn't leave anything out?
Pretty much.
Okay, so there was no problems with, like, you know, the Jeff Wayne War of the Worlds part in there.
That was in there as well.
Yeah, that's all right then.
Yeah, no, it was. It wasn't quite as moving, I don't think, as when they did the Last Ninja bit there, because they really had loads of graphics of him on the screen playing the flute and stuff like that. But it was still a sobering moment, you know, because he should have been there conducting it. And I mean, Chris Abbott's really close friends with Ben, and how he managed up on the lectern at the front of the stage to get through the bit where he introduced that. You know, I really thought he was going to crack up, but he managed to get through, and he did him proud. And I think the orchestra did it proud as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fair to say, and with all due respect to any other, 64 musicians and whatever that, have also died, none of them hit the scene quite as hard as when the news came along that Ben Dalglish had died. I mean, that really did hit, the 64, fan base or whatever, for lack of a better word. That really did hit it hard.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, everyone knew him. I mean, I didn't know him that well, but I knew him. You know, I'm still friends with him now on Facebook, even though it's obviously posts from like his wife or whatever. But yeah, because it was all kind of not hush hush, but it wasn't being spoke about. And I know I sent Chris a message, and I was like, something's bad happened. What the fuck's gone on? And I had a feeling, I knew what it was, and I knew in myself it's something had happened to Ben. And I just got a message back saying Ben's died, and I was like, oh, for fuck's sakes. And yeah, it did. It really, really did hit the 64 music community very hard.
Yeah, I know he's. I mean, I did a video, a sort of tribute to Ben Dalglish, and I think it was his daughter commented on it, and it must be great for these people, like anything, whether you're a famous footballer or whatever, for his family to see that his music and his legacy lives on. You know, it's
definitely
beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, I can play you two the orchestral version of Trap later on. So,
look forward.
I was to say, just as an attempt to lighten things up a little bit. When, because I forget what it was we were doing, but you did mention to us that you had chosen a Ben Dalglish track for this, but you didn't tell me anything other than that. Well, actually, I think you may have said something that might have given me a clue, but I got it totally wrong. I wasn't expecting it to be trap. I mean, I know the trap music really well. It is fucking great. But yeah, I thought it was going to be something completely different, and I was thinking, yeah, see, that's not a bad choice if it's the one I'm thinking, because it wasn't. I won't say what it is, because that's one that I will probably choose myself, if not for the next one, then certainly in one of them at some point, unless, of course, you beat me to it, which is entirely possible.
Yeah, get it in next time.
Yeah.
Well, that was one that I was going to choose, and I'll be honest, I kind of had an inkling that it had already been picked, so that's why I left it out. I wasn't sure. We will need to get pull a list together, because we're now up to what, I don't know, Chris, we've only probably played what, about not even 100 SID tunes, eh? When you think about it.
Well, we got 7 times 15 after tonight. It'd be 103 because someone's done a couple twice. Haven't they?
Yeah.
You had to get that one, Annie. Anyway,
Also,
We are going to be mentioning that every single time we get the chance. Don't ever doubt it.
I would be gutted if you didn't. I'd be really disappointed if you didn't. Anyway,
it could be worse. I could have mentioned something about, taking trips to Canada to model wedding dresses, but I promise you I won't ever mention that one again. Yeah.
Anyway, moving swiftly on. We're not going to finish on a high because we've just had the high. But I'm sure this one's still going to be nice nevertheless. I was just going through all the SID tunes. I've never heard of this guy. I just thought this sounds lovely. Now, the fact that he played with Hokuto Force is a good pedigree. This is a guy called, oh Christ, Gaetano Chimo. That's a pathetic attempt. And it's called A Childhood Dream.
That was almost like listening to an acoustic track after some of the hard-hitting beats we've had this evening.
Yeah, it was interesting there, the photo of him there playing the guitar there, because that really did have, like, classical guitar sort of like sound to it from start to finish.
Yeah, nice harmonies as well on that. I've really enjoyed that.
Are you guys familiar with him at all?
I'm familiar with Hokuto Force, and I'm sure I've seen him post in some of the groups I'm in.
Yeah, I know Hokuto Force, but I don't know I don't recognise the name.
Well, apparently he's done 9 release games. Does that show you? No, it doesn't. No.
No, but it'll show you where that song's from if you click on CSDB at the top there. All right, it was in the anti-pop demo then. Is that the 2 SID one you was on about?
Yeah. So was that 2 SIDs then? Was that?
Well, it says 2 SID at the end of it. So after accusing me of cheating the other time when I played a 2 SID one, you've gone and done the same.
Well, what I did was when I found that, I then went on to my C64 and I couldn't find it in that. So I'm thinking, oh, maybe it's because I can't physically play it. But at the end of the day, it's a celebration of what the C64 can do.
Well, the other thing is, if you look on the where it has your search results, above it, there it is, Stereo 2 SID, a childhood dream 2 SID.SID. It looks like there is a dual SID and a single SID version of the same piece.
Yeah, that was interesting.
That's all right. I'll record the dual SID one because I can.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Superb. Anyway, listen, that wraps up another show. Another cracker. It's been a wee while since we've done one of these, but
A Christmas cracker.
I
I said that for Lukozer's benefit, and the face said it was worth it.
Yeah.
I was going to get you, Peter, to sing Ding Dong Merrily and High, but I wouldn't have put Lukozer through that.
No.
Not after the jingle bells.
Yeah, you wouldn't want me putting anybody through me attempting to sing that thing.
Although the Gloria bit would be amusing.
It would be worth it. Anyway, yeah, we will be back probably in the new year, and it's not going to be a SID show. It's going to be something slightly different, but I'm sure we will return for a SID show 8.
Of course we will.
Year. Of course, it's a stick-on. I think people like it, and you know what? Even if nobody listens to it, it doesn't matter. We enjoy listening to it. That's the important thing.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, bollocks to anyone listening to this. It's just for us three, you know.
So I want to thank you two guys for coming along and making this video possible again. It's always good fun, and I want to finally thank everybody for watching it. Yeah, until next time, guys. Thank you very, very much for watching. Take care.